UN ambassador. What the hell does she know about foreign affairs and world politics? Okay? At least when Colin Powell took over, he was a former five-star general who ran the armed forces, Joint Chiefs of Staff. You know? Who did I miss? I know I missed a few. We've talked enough about Bannon, all right? And what about his family? Trump has already said to the media, screw you guys. My family comes with me. They're an integral part of my business and the running of my campaign, i.e. being president. So, he's just saying, he's rubbing the American people's noses in the fact that he screwed everybody and he got elected, and now you got to put up with me because I'm the big guy.
I think he likes Trump. What do you think? Did we lose you?
I think we did. He's
Hello?
still up there. He hasn't been disconnected.
I don't know. I think we...
Maybe I spoke so much, I either put him to sleep or he got fed up.
No, you're good. You're good. I was muting myself, man. Having a conversation with my partner here.
Did you hear his ranting and raving, or you missed it all?
I wouldn't call it ranting. I don't think anything was wrong with that assessment of her. I think, she always was an ambitious person who looked for power first and then kind of covered it in the guise of wanting to help people. I think that's a good assessment of Hillary.
No,
but yeah,
no.
It was a huge
yeah. No, I was going to say he started talking about all the appointees and how much he loves them all.
I mean, the latest nominee is this lady DeVoss, she and her husband are billionaires. They gave a lot of money to Trump's campaign. They owned either a football team or a baseball team in Florida. She wants to do away with public education and give everybody vouchers for charter schools. Okay? I mean,
man. DeVoss is disgusting. She's also advocated for putting children back to work.
Yeah.
Turning back some of those workers' rights laws. And the private funding of schools and taking money out of the federal dollars to put in the private schools is bigger too, because they're talking about $20 billion voucher system that would equal out to about $1,200 to $1,500 per student, which is not enough for these private schools. So the student would go there for the first semester. You'd have this huge influx of people leaving public schools, and then you could close public schools. It's a means to an end, and it's kind of disgusting when you really look at it. But his whole team, hold on real quick.
Okay.
Let me add something else, because when you bring up his appointments, understand this. His whole economic team is based on donors. There's my man from the Big Short, John Paulson. There's Steve Munich. All of these guys are people who donated $500,000 and held fundraisers for Trump, who said he was going to self-finance, which never happened. And they are going to be the ones who are influencing policy. And the biggest thing that they're looking at is closing loopholes, like mainly capital gains tax, and the idea, that they should be taxed on some of these trades on Wall Street. So some of the hedge fund guys, Goldman Sachs is coming out really well in this election because Trump's appointing these people. And at a certain point, Trump becomes a rubber stamp guy. He doesn't understand some of this policy stuff, but he understands money, and he's going to work with wealthy people to influence and push their narrative. So I think we're looking at, old school trickle down economics, but kind of with a populism flair to it. So this could be really disastrous for the middle and lower classes of America the next 4 years.
Well, he's very quick to say he's self-funded and self-funding, but the bottom line is, even Fox News doesn't say anything about these private donors that contribute $500,000 and what they expect to get for their money. Okay, but you say the mainstream media wasn't fair? Felix.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Hey, I give you one bigger than that. Deutsche Bank, which is one of the few banks who would lend to Donald Trump before he got in, they had a huge fine because of some of the maneuvers they did during the housing crisis. And after Trump was elected, their stock went up because the assumption is Trump's not going to make them pay that fine because he owes them $50 million. And that's one of the groups that he owes money to. So Deutsche Bank is one thing to look at as well. So this is not the average Republican as we knew from the beginning. And this could get dire. Paul Ryan's advocating privatizing Medicare. And, there's no real big thing that Trump would stop it. So, there's a lot going on here, man. And his supporters, I think, are going to be severely disappointed when it comes down to it.
I was telling Felix before the show, Ryan keeps coming up with this $5,000 figure that they're going to give an individual to purchase his own health care, okay? $5,000 might pay for 3 months' worth of health care.
If for an individual, it pays for it, not for a family.
But it certainly won't pay for the year.
Yes, it will. For an individual, pay for the year.
Depends what kind of coverage they get. Maybe they want what the congressmen have.
How many families are just one individual? You know what I mean? You're talking about people in their 20s when the majority of people are people with families already and have to have some type of responsibility with their coverage, which means it's going to be more expensive. Look, they're gonna punt on Obamacare. They're not going to get rid of Obamacare because if they do, that means they'd have to sunset that program by 2018, and that's midterm elections, and people would be losing health care by the millions, and all these people would be running for office, and he's not going to put the Republican Party in that position. So they're going to figure out some way to keep Obamacare. And this goes to a critique from the right when Obamacare was implemented, where people said Obama is placing this in a way to where even if it fails, it'll be so difficult to get rid of that they'll have to fix it. So that critique from the right was correct, that Obama was doing that purposefully.
Well, I agree with you. Look, I was in favor of Obamacare because it helped people who didn't have insurance get insurance. Problem was, as you well know, they couldn't get enough people to sign up. In order to fund it, you have to raise the deductibles. And they raised it to the point this year where it's almost unaffordable. All right? Paul Ryan's program of $5,000, the only people that's going to help are going to be the millennials because they're only one person.
Well, when he's giving 5,000, he's giving 5,000 individual or family. There's a big difference.
All he said was 5,000. He didn't say any. I didn't hear him say anything about family, individual, or what. So I'm going under the.
Well, once you start talking about capping it, you're already putting yourself in a box. So I mean that's why he's saying it the way he is. But if you're the Republicans, as much as you advocated against Obamacare, you've got to have something on the table. You got to have something to yell about. So they've got to say they're trying to do something. But in the end, there's not much they're going to be able to do to change this because you can't just pull the rug out from so many people right now or in 2 years. Like, you can't just do that and leave them with no health care after they had it. They would consider that a stain on the Republican Party. So politically, it's going to be tough for them to pull off.
Well, he still hasn't had his major address to the people. Okay. Granted, he's trying to, the only thing I'll give him credit for is the fact that he's looking to fill cabinet positions and appointee positions rather quickly. But obviously, with the exception of the appointees, which don't need congressional approval, the rest still has to get congressional approval. And somebody like Nikki Haley and somebody like Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, okay, they're gonna face some tough questions from Congress. I mean, 35 years ago, 36 years ago, as a member of the Congress, Sessions called a black man boy, and he said something about learning your place. you know.
Sessions is somebody from another era, and the fact that he would even bring him back out into the fray is kind of a slap in the face. But it also goes to show that Donald Trump is really not. He's not a Washington D.C. guy, so I assume he's getting, led by the nose by some people saying, "Hey, this guy's this guy's that," and then he's bringing him up there, and then he gets the backlash. And then I think the part of Trump is Trump likes popular support. He likes to hear what people think. And I think he's going to end up backing down on some of this stuff because he's not going to let these people take away the popularity rate that he has now, because he has one huge base that's really behind him, and he's not going to lose it based on some Jeff Sessions and people like that. So I think that's where it's going to get difficult for Trump supporters, because Trump can't have that not back down stance that he had on the campaign trail. He has to govern now, so there's going to be times where he has to give.
You'll excuse me, but I remember Rush Limbaugh, every time he mentioned President Obama, before he was sworn in and even while he was president, he made sure to say Barack Hussein Obama. So you'll excuse me if I keep saying Jefferson Beauregard Sessions. Okay? I mean, doesn't get more southern than that.
Yeah.
Well,
like I said, he's a guy of another era, man. There's no reason to actually pull the mothballs off that dude and bring him out.
And then you got Rudy Giuliani, who looks like he's going to have a heart attack every time he opens his mouth. I mean, he doesn't know what it's like to talk. He screams, And look what he's...
I don't think these guys know Trump as well as they think they do, because Trump is not about taking on liabilities. And I think some of these guys are going to see that Trump's going to be like, look, man, it's not really in my interest to keep you on. You're a liability. You got to go. As Christie found out. Yeah, I think that'll go on for a bit. Some of these, this cast of guys is,
the funny thing
not
is...
the best.
We we haven't heard much from Bannon. Bannon's been keeping a pretty tight lip, okay? As opposed to,
the less he talks, the better for him.
True.
The less he talks, the better for him.
But they also said that Trump can be very vindictive, and Romney has said a lot of things about Trump that, not only did he say it, but it's on tape, and you can't walk it back. And he's just making Romney do this song and dance, but he has no. There's no way he's going to appoint him as Secretary of State. He's too sane a person. Okay.
Yeah, who's too
sane of a person?
About him so badly. That was shocking me.
What'd you say? He's too sane of a person?
Yeah, Romney is. Romney is basically, Obama said it before the election. He said he ran against McCain and he ran against Romney, but he said if he would have lost, he said John McCain and Mitt Romney were capable men to lead this country. Not the way he would have wanted to lead the country, but they didn't have anything, the Americans wouldn't have anything to worry about. Okay, but I mean, you have Kellyanne Conway doing a lot of talking for Trump. I mean, how many excuses can she come up with? I'm just waiting to see what position he's going to offer her. It was, what was it? Laura Ingraham was going to be press secretary.
It doesn't matter. She's made her hay. She's going to make so much money in the next few decades as the person who got Trump elected, the person who handled every fire. In my mind, she's ridiculous, but no matter what, if you look at it from a non-emotional position, you realize, okay, this person was an emergency crisis manager every week, every day. She had to answer for something, figure out a way to talk her way out of something, and explain away something. I think she's a horrible person, but politically, she's going to be really valuable, and people are going to pay her a lot of money going forward.
Oh, yeah. She's written her own ticket.
Yeah, and I think something that really needs to be brought up is, remember we were talking, we were like, man, Hillary seems to be making some hay in